Welcome to the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast, where you learn the best doubles lessons to improve your game and win more matches while getting to know some of the top doubles players and coaches on the planet. I'm your host, Will Bochek. This podcast, my weekly strategy newsletter, and my website all focus on the goal of better understanding the sport of doubles and helping players like you improve faster through actionable advice that you can use in your very next match. My goal is to provide the best doubles resources in the world. And to do that, I study, analyze, and work with players at every level of the game, all the way up to the ATP and WTA tours. If you enjoy this podcast, consider becoming a Tennis Tribe member to go even deeper and take your doubles IQ to the next level. Members get access to premium podcast episodes, weekly video lessons, monthly strategy webinars, courses, ebooks, gear discounts, and a lot more. Go to thetennistribe.com/memberships to see all the benefits and sign up. Here's today's episode. You're about to hear from Dallas Open Tournament Director Peter Lebedevs. If you've listened to the podcast for a while, then you know I have Peter on every year to preview the Dallas Open, which is now a 500 level event. In this conversation, we talk about what Peter did that specific day to prepare for the tournament. So it was about 3.5 weeks out. We talk about court speed on tour and how that's changed over time, how they measure court speed. We also discussed the new venue. So in 2025, the Dallas Open upgraded from a 250 to a 500, and they moved from SMU's facility to the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. And I was at the tournament every day last year and absolutely loved the new venue. And Peter talks about the feedback that they got as well as what changes we can expect in year two. If you are looking for a good 500 ATP tournament to go to, I can't recommend this one enough because it's so convenient to fly to DFW and to get a hotel near the tennis courts, and you don't really have to travel a whole lot. You can walk basically everywhere. There's tons of restaurants and bars and coffee shops and all sorts of stuff in the area. After that, we talked about the 2026 player field. We talked about the doubles field, which is still coming together, pretty small at this point, and then a lot of the single stars who are going to be coming to Dallas as well. We discussed the past champions on the doubles side. The Dallas Open seems to be a tournament that can kind of propel teams to have a successful rest of the year, at least for the past several champions for sure. After that, we talked about the schedule for the week and then his thoughts on US Open Mixed and kind of experimenting with different tournament formats in tennis. And then at the end, Peter's also a great tennis coach. He's coached players at all levels of the game. I asked him for his best advice for club players trying to improve their game in 2026. So I think you're going to enjoy this one. You get some really good insights into what it takes to run a professional tennis tournament, as well as a couple of tips to improve your own game. So check out the Dallas Open, and without further delay, enjoy this conversation with Peter Lebedevs. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. For the fourth or fifth year in a row, we've got Peter Lebedevs on to preview the Dallas Open. Peter, welcome back.
Thanks. Well, now we've got to change the name now. It's the Nexo Dallas Open going forward. That's
Nexo
right.
Dallas Open, new title sponsor this year. We are 3.5 weeks away, roughly. Call it 3 weeks. What did you do today?
Today, confirmed a couple of guys for our collegiate doubles we're doing, a couple of teams for that, as well as take out a few things for the players, work on their credentials, their hotels, and their transportation. Check to make sure that the court surface speed is going to be correct. That's always a question. And just check on our ball order to make sure the balls are getting here. That's the first few things we did, as well as a couple of sponsor activations. We've got a cool one with Boss that they're looking at trying to do. And so we had to go and see if, does it fit in the stadium when we rig it from the roof? Is it going to look cool? So just an average day, 3 weeks out.
How do you measure the court speed? I've never seen that before.
It's like golf. You know how they have a stimp meter? They have a same
Hmm.
sort of a thing for tennis. And the way the numbers are, 40 is sort of an average speed. So if you're above 40, that's a fast court. If you're below 40, you're considered a slower court. And that's all about the sand and the grit in the court. The trouble with a tennis court is you've seen it done. It's done by a squeegee. So if the guy doesn't push down quite hard enough, that part of the court might be a little bit slower, might have a fraction more sand in it. So it's
Hmm.
not an absolutely perfect science. And the fact that you do all the courts, even though we do them really together, one may play a fraction faster. But what we do is we go to the manufacturer, which is green set for us at the Nexo Dallas Open, and say, I want it to start at 36, 37, 38, whatever number I say. And knowing that by the end of the week, it'll speed up a little bit because it's like sandpaper. So every day
Hmm.
you use it, the sandpaper loses a little bit of the grit. I mean, it's not as dramatic as sandpaper, but that's the same concept. And then we get a daily readout from our electronic line calling system because we don't actually have the machine to do the test. And then that's how it's done. And look, there's a lot of debate about what tournament directors are doing with the speed of the court. Let me tell you, the difference is we want it to be my goal is for the players to say it was a fair court. I don't want them to say it was fast. I don't want them to say it was slow. I want them to say it was fair. And honestly, in our years in Dallas, last year it was a baseliner in Casper Ruud versus big offensive player Denis Shapovalov.
Hmm.
Different styles playing there. We had, Riley Opelka versus Jensen Brooksby. So you get a baseliner versus a server. We had Tommy Paul and Marcus Giron was probably the time we had the two most baseliners. And then the other year we
Hmm.
had, Wu Yibing winning it, who's an offensive baseliner. So I think we've achieved a fair court that, depending on how you play, you can win it as a baseliner or as a big server. So, that's my goal. And when they say they're trying to slow it down to have more tennis on TV and stuff, that is 100% not true.
Yeah.
It's just there's no.
I feel
I'm
like
just in there. No tournament. Let's slow it down so the matches take longer, the days get longer, and
yeah.
people are there till 3 in the morning. It's not the discussion, I promise you.
I feel like it's just an easy thing for people to talk about, kind of like the weather, Like
Absolutely.
if you like meet somebody for the first time at a tennis tournament, it's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of you. How about the court speed?" I feel like it's just something
Or,
people like to talk about, but I do feel like I've seen those graphics where they talk about like the court speeds are converging, which might be true. I mean, I guess they measure
it's
that.
probably true because we get
Yeah.
we get attacked if it's too fast by the players. We get attacked if it's too slow. So
Yeah.
in a sense, we want to put it in the middle, and then you add the ball factor in there, which the players have been talking a lot about.
Another hot
And
topic. Yeah.
well, look, just so as you know, and I don't know if everybody knows it, they are playing with the same Dunlop ball out of the same factory, out of the same run from Dallas all the way through Miami this year. So it's the
Okay.
same ball at us in Delray, in Acapulco, in Indian Wells. Actually, I won't say Acapulco, Indian Wells, Miami, same Dunlop ball out of the same run. Now, the trouble is that ball will play differently indoors for me versus outdoor cold in Delray, with the wind and that. Miami is different with a little bit of altitude, and then you've got the hot and humid in Miami. So the ball will play different, even though it's exactly the same ball. So you will hear complaints. Whoever, as I
Yeah.
like to say, whoever's losing doesn't like either the speed of the court or the heaviness of the ball or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. But we're trying to
Yeah.
make it consistent. ATP is.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, part of the thing that's so cool about golf, and I feel like golf should do this more even, is like when you watch the British Open, it plays so differently than
Absolutely.
the US Open, than the Masters, and so on. And I kind of think tennis could do similar things. I don't like the idea that the courts are converging as much. Like, I would love to have somebody who's just dominant on the slow red clay and then somebody who's dominant on the super fast grass and, to keep that variance. But I know
Uh,
it is hard for the players to maintain their health if it's changing that quickly, but I guess that's why we kind of have the
it's
seasons. I don't know.
exactly. It's interesting when you say the health. I don't know if it changes the health so much, but that's why when Borg was winning on the clay and then 2.5 weeks later winning at Wimbledon, that's when Wimbledon was fast. When you look at
Yeah.
the year that Nalbandian and Hewitt were in the final, there's no burnt grass at the service line. They changed the the type of grass, put a little bit more of, I forget which one they put, rye, I think, in it, slowed it down. Boom, all of a sudden you're having longer matches.
Mm,
I agree. I enjoy it. Look, let's know. Grass is fast, clay is slow, indoor hard should be faster. But everybody sort of wants it to be, oh, I want it to be, here's me saying one thing and then the other.
yeah.
I want it to be fair. So I don't want to, I have slowed it down. I think we know technology, we know how to slow it down and speed it up better than we did maybe, 20 years ago or something. But yeah, I'm with you. Variety is a good thing. It's not necessarily great, but look, the players who got
Yeah.
Alcaraz and Sinner, they win on everything. It doesn't matter, fast, slow, they
Yeah.
managed to do it. So
Yeah, that's the truth. All right, let's stop talking about the weather. Let's move on to the venue. So this is year two at the new venue. I went, I think, every day last year. I loved SMU. It was small, it was intimate, it was great. This was a huge upgrade.
a huge change.
I thought it was a fantastic venue with the hotels nearby. The player hotel was right there. There's restaurants and nightlife and coffee shops, right? Like it's all walking distance. Like if people want to
Absolutely.
come from a different city, they could literally Uber from the airport, stay in their hotel and have never leave the hotel or that area, like never have to catch a Uber anywhere. It's such a great
100%.
venue.
100%. You can catch the Alto from the airport and 17 restaurants in the area. The hotel is right out the front. The players loved it. Matteo Arinaldi, when he was going through it, he's like, this feels like 1,000. And I said to him, I'm going to quote you 100 times on that, Matteo. So here's 1,001. Having all four practice courts on site, like you have it in the background there, which is fantastic. And
Mhm.
to, I think, the left of that there's the four practice courts. So you can see the guys, you're right, you're looking through the screen, you're closer there, and even on a softer screen, you might get hit by a ball on the practice courts. The players are eating in the same dining room as the Cowboys players. They love that. So from that standpoint, it was a fantastic change. We did a fan survey afterwards and got some in-person interviews from fans, non-fans, sponsors. So we've done a few little things. You'll see on the umpire's side, instead of having box seats, if you've been
Mhm.
to Miami and see those big lounging reclining seats that are on the other side, we've got 2 rows of those. So the people said we want ultra premium, so we'll put some ultra premium in there. They loved our courtside, no, our comfort loge seats. So put another 2 rows of those, and the deck on top that could overlook both courts, which is it's right actually probably where that photo was taken from above that almost.
Mhm.
That's called the Frisco Social Club. We can put some lounge chairs and things like that, so people can really relax, watch a little bit of tennis, and go there. From the players, we're also going to access the Cowboys Fit, which is another gym for them, which they are really looking forward to already, I know. And we're trying to get a few more activities for the players to do. Unfortunately, again, the Mavs and the Stars are out of town, so they can't do as many. I think there's one game on the Thursday before the event, but the players just absolutely, they were said, "Hey, you make it as
Yeah.
easy as you possibly can." And so we're excited with what it's going to be for the fans as well as the players again.
And then you also had this would be like underneath where I'm sitting in this photo behind
Yes,
me. The it was like the Choctaw Lounge or
that's
something.
right.
Is
We have
something
the
like that going there as well?
it's the Choctaw Lounge, which is where all the box holders and Nexo courtside seat holders have their food and beverage. And Legends do an amazing job. I had one gentleman say to me, Peter, I'm proud to bring my clients here now. This is, so good. The Cowboys way, the Cowboys have really gotten into the tennis and that's the standard for them. So you're in that. And this year, right above that, there was another area, but we've actually expanded
Hmm.
that. And so those people in the comfort loge, they'll have their own private area as well, which, as you know, you're sitting in the glass, you're looking out over in the grandstand court while you're eating your dinner or lunch and having a drink and relaxing. So you're right there. So when Riley Opelka got a little fired up last year, you could have had a ringside seat right to it, which only happens in
Yeah,
tennis when you're that close. I love it.
yeah. Or maybe you can be the one that fires him up a little bit.
Yeah, he loves a few people when they bang on the windows. That's true.
So the cool thing about that area was the access to the grandstand right there. You're kind of standing basically at court level, and it's
Yes.
just a big piece of glass separating you from the court. And that was the primary doubles court, right? Being the grandstand court as well.
It is
Um,
simply, yeah, because it's TV dictates how many singles matches I've got to have on
sure.
stadium on center court, and that's sort of what it was. But and again with Davis Cup last year, which we have the same situation again, we did not have a doubles match we could put on anywhere on Monday because they're traveling from all their Davis Cup matches and they have X number of days off. So, it became a doubles court to get all those
Hmm.
matches in. Tuesday, Wednesday is packed with some great doubles, and our champions even came through qualies on Saturday and Sunday, Evan and Christian.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the doubles field. Let's actually talk about the history of the doubles champions here. So you mentioned Evan and Christian last year won, and they went on to have the best season of their careers
Unbelievable.
by far. And they
Yes.
make the top eight, make it to the ATP finals. The year
Oh,
before that, Purcell and Thompson won, and they went on to make the Wimbledon final, win the US Open.
yes.
Uh, the year before that, I think
Nate
Lamons
and
and Withrow
I
made the
don't know if it was,
finals.
yeah, and they lost to Michael Venus and Jamie Murray.
And Jamie Murray,
They
who
were
were
up a
who were well
set and a break.
established.
Yeah, they were up a
Yeah,
set and a break, and then Hawkeye had a problem, and oh my
I
gosh,
remember
changed the
that.
momentum. But
And then
Nate,
before that, Arevalo was
yeah, first
kind of a
year.
breakout star. So you've had a lot of doubles kind of breakout stars at the Dallas Open.
We have, and there's another little piece of trivia too. Every one of those teams, Marcelo and Julien Roger, who won the first year, they did the DTA clinic on Tuesday. Nate and
Oh.
Jackson won at the year two. Guess what clinic they did? The DTA clinic. And the same thing with Evan and Christian last year. They won it. They did the DTA clinic. So whoever does their DTA, the Keys Tennis Center,
You
whoever
got a
does
good
that clinic
shot.
on Tuesday, they've made the final every year. So, but
That's
it's
funny.
great seeing those guys come through. And a bunch of those guys are college players as well. So that's booing the college format again in another way too.
Talk about the college wild card that you're giving out this year. This is something that's new. I haven't heard of any other tournaments doing this. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, well, look, the doubles wildcard is we want to make it valuable. Every tournament, US Open doing the mixed doubles, Australia doing the 1 point, trying to do something a little different. Well, for us, it's always giving that wild card to, so many good people, but no real attraction for the fans. So I said, let's do one for college teams. So we invited four colleges, all close and all very good in Baylor, TCU, Texas A&M, and SMU. They're going to send a doubles team to us on the Saturday of quali, so the 7th, and they'll play, as two semis and a final, and we'll use the college format. So it's one set, no ad, just bang, bang, bang. And whoever wins that is going to get a wild card into the main draw of an ATP 500 event. College coaches, of course, jumped all over it because they're in town for the national indoors that week as well. So it makes
Mhm.
sense to do that. And Grant Chen, the head coach at SMU, and I sort of were talking about ways to do things. And we came up with this, and I think it's great. David Roditi was so excited about it. Steve Denton, A&M, he was beside himself. Like, this is a great opportunity for his guys to get out there and do that. And now we're going to hopefully connect with the alumni from those schools, get them to come out and see the event. I mean, Quali's day is fun day of tennis. And then if the team wins, they buy a few more tickets, and we start creating that, hey, who's my team next year? And, over the 4 or 5 years of us doing that, we'll really create a special moment and try and grow from there. So that's the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool way to integrate college tennis especially since so many doubles players
So many.
now played college tennis, it kind of makes sense. What doubles players, doubles teams do you have on the entry list so far?
The doubles guys don't sign up very quickly.
Okay.
JJ Tracy signed up with his partner, and
Okay.
Ben Shelton and Mackie McDonald have signed up, and that's it.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
guys, they've got another 10 days before the deadline, so they're
Yeah.
okay, but they're the only guys we got so far. So it's a little sparse, but it always turns in, to be a great one, obviously. And I'm pretty sure Christian will come back. I know he's playing with Skupski this year. So
Hmm.
he and Evan have made a change. So I'm sure they'll be here.
Yeah.
If Christian want to come back and defend his points. So I think the doubles will as always be tremendous.
Hmm. And then what about on the single side? Who do you have on the entry list so far?
Well, look, we're lucky enough that all the Americans have come through. So we've got Taylor, who's top 10, and Ben top 10. So that's terrific. Tommy and Francis, Casper's coming back again. A couple of new players. Grigor Dimitrov, he's coming in, and Grigor,
Oh, very
look,
cool.
had he not hurt himself at Wimbledon, that could have been a whole different year for Yannick Sinner, as we all know,
Hmm.
at that Wimbledon match. And then we've also got Seb Korda, who hasn't played in the US in many, many years in February, is coming in. His actual first ever wild card he got after winning the Australian Open Juniors was at our event when it was in New York, the New York Open. He was an 18-year-old kid right there, and so he got his first wild card with us. So he's coming in. Then you've got Mr. Cobelli. He is playing. So I think, a good Italian player coming through. And then, another name that people know is Marin Cilic. Marin Cilic is coming to play our event. So very strong, some great names, and I'm trying to always get those new Europeans to, I know they've been in Australia for 6 weeks, want to go home, but guys, just go home for a quick break and then come to Dallas. We'll
Yeah.
make it so easy for you. So
Yeah. Well, I imagine the reputation of like the tournament kind of gets around the locker room, and a lot of them are going to want to come this year after seeing the new venue last year. I was looking at the schedule earlier. You've got the All-American Classic on Saturday of qualifying. So that's going to be John McEnroe, Andy Roddick, John Isner, and Sam Querrey playing a kind of fun doubles match.
they're a bunch of competitive guys. I don't know about fun. It's John McEnroe. He, as the elder statesman, he chose his partner and he chose John Isner. So now it's going to be Andy and Sam against John and John. And, look, John Isner is a very good doubles player. He's five
Yeah.
1,000 doubles titles. That's no slouch on the doubles, on the doubles
Yeah.
world. So that'll be some really good tennis for that.
Yeah, that's a doubles career right there. Yeah, I feel
I'd
like
take it.
John, yeah. John's his game I felt like translated well. Obviously the serve, but then like the reach at the net. And then from the baseline though, his baseline game translated well because he just takes big cuts,
Big
and it's
cuts.
like
Yep.
you can't be looping the ball high over the net in doubles, right? It just these net players are too good. So since he's taking big cuts, he just has to land a few of them in a return game or two, and then he's got his break.
That's exactly right. I mean, he's an intimidating figure at the net. People say, "Oh, he's big," but yeah, he's big and get everything. So, you're under pressure when you're returning. His partner because he got to the semis, I think, with who was that? The guy Schwartzman. At one of the events 2 years
Hmm.
ago. He
In
went from the
Italy, in Italy, in
yeah,
Rome.
and it's like
Yeah.
he's doing that well because he can protect his serve, and John's never going to lose his serve. So he's very, very good. As John says, he's a sneaky good warm up because he hits a good flat ball and he doesn't miss too much. He's a very solid doubles player. You're right. So he acts like he's not good, and I have to keep sort of saying, "Hey, John, you're a very good doubles player. Don't sell yourself short, mate."
Um, so you mentioned the U.S. Open mixed, and then you're experimenting with this college wild card. What were your thoughts on the U.S. Open mixed, even the 1 point slam that they did in Australia? It seems like there's a lot more experimenting going on in these tournaments.
We have to. If we don't, we're knuckleheads. We have to change. I mean, look, I said it on your podcast 3 years ago. What do we need? I said a mixed doubles tournament where we get the big players playing. I didn't have Eric
Mm.
Budarak's, foresight to go that big, but people wanted to see it, and it raised the debate. What's real, singles guys or doubles guys? By the way, the girl that won it was number 5 in the world in singles previously. She's
She's
not
not
a
a bad
doubles
singles
specialist.
player.
She was just a really good doubles player before, but to me, it was fantastic. I mean, look, the crowds were packed. They sold that thing
Mhm.
out. I thought it was an absolute massive success. I mean, my opinion, I had a few debates with friends online, and I don't usually like, oh, the level of tennis wasn't great. I'm like, well, when have you watched a first round mixed doubles match at the US Open to really know what a good
Yeah.
level of mixed doubles is? You've watched a lot of them, don't tell me that that wasn't some good matches and that excitement. I think when one of the best ones was when, Carlos ran around behind Raducanu to get the ball. She thought the point was over and he
Yeah.
got that ball. And Jack Draper was been trying to be a little nice. And, Jess was, giving him a hard time in the press interview. I was like, man, don't let up. I thought it was great, and it's only, in my opinion, only going to get better as they keep, fixing the formats, and everybody's got an opinion, but if you're
Sure.
getting those top guys out there, I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, looking at Iga Swiatek, she was into that. She wanted to win that thing.
Hmm.
And so you mean they're competitors at heart. So personally, I thought it was great. And then the one pointer they just had in Australia, watching the guys in the locker room get that excited. To
Yeah.
me, that's when you know it's good. When even the guys who do it all day, every day, they're sitting in there trying to watch that last point and that, that sort of stuff. I think that shows you that it's more than just, the regular stuff. And look, tennis has to adapt. Every sport has adapted in some way. We tried Netflix. Didn't really work for tennis like it did other sports. So we're doing something different. And, those that can make major changes like the majors have done some amazing things. I don't know if you've seen in Australia, which actually our title sponsor Nexo is doing. It's, pick the perfect bracket for $10 million. If you can get
Yeah.
every match right, that's a tough one. But,
I mean,
it's,
I guess that's cool. Nobody's gonna get it. It's like,
come
I don't
on.
know.
What, does anybody ever get the NCAA bracket in March?
No, nobody ever gets it. It's like it's impossible. And this is double the size of the NCAA bracket.
Yeah.
It's 128. It's not 64. So that doesn't make it twice as hard. That makes it like
The
probably a million, yeah, like a
exponential.
million times harder or something. There's just no chance to get it. So I mean, it's
Uh,
cool that they're doing it, but it's like they need to make it winnable. In my opinion, I
well,
think it's a little unfair.
it's funny you say that. We're doing Crest Infinity's doing a hit a ball through a target for a free car. And it's pretty
Okay.
funny as we're going through that, if the target is X big, the insurance costs a little bit,
Yeah.
costs this. If it gets 2 inches bigger, it costs more. And how far
Yeah.
should we go? And, at first was like, it's going to be 100 feet away. I'm like, come on, we got to bring it a little closer. So we've got it.
Yeah.
We've got it at 65 feet. So it's basically just behind the service line. Somebody can feed a ball into it to make it.
Yeah.
You're right. You want to make it attainable.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
But
think
it's
people
just
are bad at math though, so they don't know how unattainable predicting a 128 person draw is.
It's
But
look, as we all know, the seeds, if you want to do one just for the seeds are guaranteed not to hold up. So
yeah. Um, Last thing on the mixed, mentioned Irani was top five in singles. Vavasori also just won a
yes,
singles match against Gabriel Diallo, I believe, who's
yeah,
like top
Gabriel Diallo is coming to
50.
our event. Yeah,
Yeah, top 50 or 60, a really good Canadian player.
41 actually, 41 on our entry
41.
list.
There you go. There you go. So
So
he's
exactly,
also playing some great singles as well.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, look, let's be clear. You got to be a good player, period. Mixed doubles,
yeah.
regular doubles, whatever. But when they say that those two were doubles specialists, yes, they're very, very good at doubles, but they're also very good at singles.
They're
And
very good tennis players.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Great athletes, great tennis players. But I got to admit,
Yeah.
I did enjoy watching Irani. She knew where to be better than most of the
Oh
girls, I
yeah.
think, in the whole thing. Just the positioning in the court. Even if she's hitting an underhand serve, she won more
Yeah.
points with that thing because the guys want to rip it. And the hardest thing
Yeah.
to do is generate pace on a no pace ball. Doesn't matter what level you are.
Yeah. The singles players just don't focus on double strategy ever, which why would they? I think Coco recently said like she never has a plan when she plays doubles too. And
So
she's
that's
got a
like,
doubles Grand Slam title with Siniakova. But
she didn't win one with
anyways.
Jess? Okay, I thought she won one
No,
with Jess too.
they made the final.
Final.
I th or no, she made the final with Katie McNally at the U.S.
Oh,
Open. I
that's
don't know if
right.
she and
Gosh.
Jess won. I don't think they won one. They won a couple of Masters 1000s though, I believe.
Now they were tough.
Um, all right, so last couple of questions here. So it's early in 2026 here. A lot of club level doubles players listen to the podcast. How do you, and you've coached players at every level of the game.
Yep.
If a club player came to you and said, I want to improve this year more than last year, what advice would you give them? Where would you start?
Um, I'd sort of have to go watch them play. Sort of give me,
Hmm.
I need to understand what they do. Like, do you have a big forehand? Do you have no forehand? Are you fast? Sort of got to understand their game a little bit to see where they can improve. So, okay,
Hmm.
so if they've got good groundies, then okay, then we might work on playing higher percentage points off the ground. If they have great volleys, figure out a way to, loop and come in. I'm sort of just throwing some things out there. So understand their game a little bit, but then it's to measure it and look at their improvement with them by giving them not, did I win or lose, but did you do that thing better? So, I always remember one of the ones that I like to have is the consistency, just high percentage. How do I get better this year? Let's hit the first 3 balls across your body every time. And then when they walk off the court, did you hit the 3 across your body? Yes. Oh, great. Then you got better. And they'll win more matches because they'll be more consistent. So I would have a look at their game and sort of, understand the game first and then focus on what it is. But the consistency at the amateur level is still number one thing you would do. So I look at their serve. Do they miss a lot of first serves? Okay, let's try and, take something off your first serve or add more spin to it, So I looked at, in some form or fashion, generally raise their consistency number one, and then look at ways that they can be a little offensive depending on the game style. But number one is about consistency. You and I have talked about it before. When you're at the on the ad side and doubles at the net and they hit to your backhand volley, you want to hit to the open court. That's the hardest shot there is. Hit it back to them and wait till you get the ball you want to get to, which is patience, consistency. So I think, my most success with my players that improved is really shot selection is where the easiest improvement can be made, because it doesn't matter how you hit it. It's about choosing the right shot more often, and they'll get better results just purely by being smarter about how they play.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I want to challenge people listening to go out and do that first 3 shots across your body. Do that for a set or a match and just see what happens. I've been really big the last year on challenging people to do one thing for an entire set, because you learn so much. So it might be people say, I want to get better at poaching. And I'm like, okay, poach on every first serve for an entire set and just see what happens. Like, you're not going to get better at poaching 3 times a match. Like, it's not going to happen.
I'm waiting for the ball. No, you're exactly right. I mean, as a coach, I've said, hey, serve every ball out wide this set, and then so you learn, first of all, how to hit the serve better. You learn where the return is going to come more often. Yeah. But it's so hard because we all like to win. And then you go, but if I just serve one to his backhand instead of out wide, I can win the point, coach.
Yeah.
Stay the way.
Well, you have to figure out what you want to prioritize, winning or improving.
Improving will create the wins. Ask Kurt Signetti. I think he's probably the guy right now.
Exactly. All right, Peter, this was a ton of fun. How do we get tickets to the Dallas Open, and any closing thoughts or requests of the audience?
Look, dallasopen.com, grab some tickets out there, and I'd love everybody to come out nice and early. First part of the week, you see the guys practicing on the courts and you see great tennis and really experience it. And then, be sure to let us know. Get on our the website and give us the feedback, and on the social channels, post pictures of having fun and tell us what we got to do right to improve it even again next year, because that's how we'll get it better. So come out early, come out often, enjoy it, and then tell us what we can do better going forward.
Awesome. Thanks a ton, Peter, for coming on again, and everybody check out the Dallas Open.
Thanks. Nexo Dallas Open. We'll be there.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast. If you're interested in diving deeper into the world of doubles strategy, I've created Tennis Tribe memberships that allow me to bring you more podcast episodes, video lessons, webinars, and other doubles content on a weekly basis without relying on paid ads. The lessons inside the membership will help you better game plan with your partner, optimize your practices, and become the smartest player on the court. Go to thetennistribe.com/memberships to learn more and sign up. You can also join my free newsletter on our homepage, where I share a new doubles lesson every week. If you want to connect, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or contact me through our website. Thanks again for listening.